Hey everyone, it's Rick Theriault, your Maine real estate guide. Today I'm on location in the town of Mount Chase, Maine. As you can see, I'm a little bundled up. It's -3 degrees, so let's hope the electronics work today. I'm out here on a nice parcel of land, 484 acres, that's coming to market. This chunk of land, 484 acres in the town of Mount Chase, and part of it's in Patten. It's one contiguous piece. It's been in the same family's ownership for over 70 years. It's a really nice piece of property. Got some good topography. It's been kept as a timber holding for all these years. It's been managed very, very well. I'll show you some of the high points here as we navigate from the road frontage where I'm standing right now to the back of the property. So the topography here, right here at the road, where I'm on the Shin Pond Road, where you have 60 feet of owned frontage, is at elevation of about 840 feet above sea level, and then it rises up to the high point on the very back of about 1,000 feet above sea level, so about 160 feet of elevation change from the road to the back of the property. And at the back, on the abutting property, it drops off significantly down into a valley. So in that area, you can have panoramic views of Mount Katahdin if you cut a few trees, and if you wanted to, build a cabin on the back part of this 484 acre parcel of land. This property in the town of Mount Chase is coming to market at $559,000. So with that, I'm gonna go grab the rest of my gear and we'll go take a look around. So I'm standing here on the road frontage, and this road in front of me, this paved public road, is the Shin Pond Road, which comes from connects Patten to Mount Chase. We're in the town of Mount Chase. If we continue in this direction here, this becomes the north entrance to Baxter State Park. So this area here is one that a lot of people recreate on. You can see here in the snow, there's snowmobile tracks in the snow. This is a great area for snowmobiling, ATVing, wildlife watching, hunting, fishing. It's all available here in the Mount Chase Patten area. So this owned frontage has been improved recently. It's all been surveyed here on the front. It's 60 feet wide. They've graveled up the road. You can't really tell that now. There's 2 feet of snow on top of the gravel, but they've really improved this section here. It is being, the current owner has given permission to the local ATV club to use this as an ATV trail, but understand that that is by permission or license. That's not deeded. So, if you don't want to have ATVs going across your property, you can change that because that's not deeded. That's by permission. So the current owner, enjoys ATVing himself and has given permission to the ATV club to use part of the roadways on the property as part of their ATV trail during the ATV season. A lot of the local clubs, ATV and snowmobile clubs, the trail networks, the recreational trail networks that extend throughout Maine, are there by the permission of the landowners. So usually the local clubs, they do a pretty good job of policing their ranks to make sure that people are taking care of the property that they're riding on, and they're not destroying the earth beneath them and whatnot, and keep an eye on it to make sure that nobody's misbehaving. But they also oftentimes in the summertime, they'll have landowner appreciation days where they'll have a cookout or whatnot, invite the landowners that have graciously allowed them to have trail networks on the property. So that's a little bit about ATV and snowmobile trails in Maine. Again, they're there by permission. They're not deeded access or anything. And so if it's nothing that you want to continue with, well, you can change that. But people have been enjoying the trails here in this area for many, many years. So as we're walking up along the roadway that extends this private owned strip that's 60 feet wide, you can see the survey work that's been done. The lines are all freshly blazed along this 60-foot wide strip that's here for all, that's owned. It's an owned strip, it's not a right-of-way. The lines are marked on both sides of the road. It extends up a ways. So one of the nice parts about looking at a piece of timberland in the wintertime with snow on the ground is you can see stories in the snow. And by that I mean I'm walking along and you see various types of animal tracks in the snow that in the the spring, summer, and fall you probably wouldn't be able to see any real tracks through the leaves or high packed gravel, but you have both prey animals and predators telling a story in the snow. So like through here there's snowshoe hare tracks, and then intermixed in there you got some fisher and some coyote and some fox tracks, hunting those snowshoe hares. It's a pretty clear hare track there. The hares kind of usually are in thicker cover, and you got some nice thick regen here in this area that was logged here about 8 years ago. You get some nice pine and some hemlock and spruce coming back, and it's nice thick regen, good cover for the snowshoe hare. So I'm walking along on the major interior road artery, and there's a little better than 8,800 feet of road that transverses this 484 acres of timberland from the Shin Pond Road to the back of the property. The roads are in pretty good shape, and a lot of it, like you can see in the snow, this main artery is used in the wintertime as a snowmobile trail, which is nice. And I haven't seen a sled yet, so it's pretty quiet. Although it is pretty cold out, so if you're out riding today, you're going to have the right gear for it because it's going to be chilly. But what a beautiful day for a walk in the woods. And this is a great tract of land if you're looking for to diversify some investments. Maybe you've got a fair amount of profit in the stock market and whatnot. A piece of timberland is a good place to park some money. It's an investment you can enjoy. You can go walk it. You can watch animals. You can hunt. You can camp on it. You can visit it. It's a lot more than just looking at a computer screen and seeing what your portfolio tickers are telling you have for value right now. Land is a tangible asset that you'll always have. So as I was walking along, just saw my first sled. He just went by, and he wasn't trying to break any land speed records. It was nice, just casual. He's out for a nice casual ride in the back country. But I came across a pretty clear fisher track here in the snow. Let me show you. So I'm pretty certain that's fisher. It's possible it's otter, but not likely. There's not a lot of water on this property. There's a little bit of frontage on Roe Brook, about 1,000 feet, but it's a long ways from where I'm at right here. Otter do cross land, but this is more likely a fisher track through the deep snow, and that's where it looks like he's kind of sliding along. His belly's dragging in the snow. Across the trail, headed off into the thick stuff, looking for a snowshoe hare, I'm pretty certain. So as we're walking along, this is the groomed ITS trail. This is part of the interconnected trail system for snowmobiles right here. And this is where it's nicely groomed, and you can see it has a bit more traffic than probably the local club trail that I was walking on over here. One of the nice things about the ITS system, it's kind of like the interstate. You have road signs. So you get some directional arrows, and they're telling you how far you need to go and what trails you need to take. Take trail 64 to 81, and it's 3 miles to the town of Patten. And you got food up at a barbecue joint there on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Everyone likes barbecue, at least I do. But they do a really nice job of signage and you know, snowmobiling and ATV recreation is helping fill the voids here in this rural part of Maine, where you know, our paper mills have largely disappeared, and so we're trying to, you know, expand the recreational aspects. This is beautiful country. You know, the timberland, as trees grow, it's beautiful. You can recreate on it. You'll see moose, deer. I was on an abutting piece of property earlier this morning, and there's signs. They're logging it, actively logging it, and the moose. There were several moose in there. I didn't see the moose, but there were fresh tracks in the snow, feeding on the tops. So there's a lot of wildlife around here. Patten is probably the more or less the service center community for where this piece of land is. Patten has a hardware store, it's got banks, it's got restaurants, grocery store, it's got healthcare there. It doesn't have a hospital, but it's got some clinics. So you can get a lot of your basic needs met in the town of Patten. Mount Chase, where the bulk of this land is really more of a bedroom community for Patten and Holton. There's really no services in Mount Chase. There are a couple of restaurants. If you head towards, follow the Shin Pond Road into Shin Pond, there's a couple of restaurants out there, campground, and then if you continue along that road, you'll come to Grand Lake Matagamon, and then the north entrance to Baxter State Park. This section of the interior logging road on the property runs right along the boundary. So if we were to step inside this tree line here, this is roughly the one edge of the northernmost border of the property, and it extends probably for another half mile up in that direction here. One of the things I noticed as I was walking along is these are some moose tracks. They're not super fresh. You can see they've been drifted in with blowing snow, but the moose was stopping here to browse on these hardwood regen tips, and Maine moose, get upwards of plus 1,000+ pounds for a bull moose, and cows probably 600, 700, 800 pounds for a large adult. And I've read that they need to browse on about 90 pounds of material daily to stay alive. And I can imagine as the temperatures dip down, last night was probably -20 in this area. They burn up a few calories trying to stay warm, and with the snow that storm's supposed to be blowing in here in the next tonight, and blowing and snow here for the next couple of days. I saw on my way up here, I saw a deer out in the field browsing. They probably, their inner barometer is probably telling them they got to feed, because there's a storm coming. Usually when it blows and whatnot, they'll hunker down. They'll eat heavily prior, and then eat what they can during, and then afterwards they'll eat heavily again after the storm blows through. But it's a little bit about moose, and this this is moose country here. If you own this property, spend any amount of time on it, you'd see some moose. Well, we made it to the height of the land. We're at about 1,000 feet above sea level here in this location on the property, right along the boundary. And from here, if you were to cut some trees down, let me show you here, in that direction there, you'd have panoramic views of Mount Katahdin. I did shoot some drone video just over the treetops, and it's quite evident that you'd have a great view as the topography of this land drops off. You get some great southwestern exposure as it slopes down in that direction to the southwest, and then the majority of the rest of the land kind of slopes for the most part off to the southeast in that direction there. So, but up here is the height of the land. In this area here was probably a landing when they logged it last. And you can see the raspberry bushes and stuff that have come up in this more open area. This is where they piled their logs. But this property benefits from not only having good southwest exposure for the most part, but it has exceptionally good soils. It's predominantly Class 2 farm soils, silty loams for the most part throughout the property, and the trees benefit from that. I'm going to show you kind of what I'm talking about here. Here's some nice young spruce that are growing up here along the trail, and I don't know if you can see that central leader up there, but that tree put on about 2 feet of growth last year alone as it's shooting up, and that's you know, because it has good sun exposure. It's out here, it's not in the shade, but it also has good soils that help provide it good nutrients. So if you're in the market for roughly 500 acres of land, a nice contiguous piece in a nice recreation area, this is a great piece to look at. This parcel here in the town of Mount Chase, it's 484 plus or minus acres. It's got about 8,800 feet of interior road. It's made up of all 3 types of timber stands. It's got about half of it's hardwood, and then a bulk of the remainder is mixed wood with some pockets of softwood. But this is a great parcel coming to market at $559,000. So if you want to take a walk on a warmer day, we'll take a walk out here. Today it's I think we're at the as warm as it's going to get, and I think it's 0. So my camera's giving me some grief here. But anyway, this is a great piece. This is a great time of year to look at land. This time of year, you probably would walk on snowshoes and stuff to see some of the parts that, if you want to go for a walk. You can see a lot of it from the snowmobile trail, which is quite nice, and it's decent walking or a decent ride. But anyway, this is a great piece. Give Rick Theriault, your Maine real estate guy, a call at area code 207-731-9902.